Dr. Flint said, this is not any different from what we've done the last two times. So I'm going to go through it just the same, and feel free if you have any questions to let me know. Okay, so we like to start with the budget process, just a general overview to remind everybody kind of how this works and the level at which we're requesting you to approve the budget. So the Board of Education approves the budget at the legal reporting level to the state, which is at the expenditure function and revenue source level. So that's when we get to the big spreadsheet, those are the levels that you'll see there. We manage as district personnel that budget within the board's approved numbers. And my office conducts reviews of that budget really every month as we're putting financial statements together, and brings any amendments or adjustments to you as we see fit. So any anticipated or actual expenditures that exceed is what we take care of through the budget process, and then we adjust the actual budget that we work from accordingly. And again, a budget amendment process is just a good internal control process to make sure we're communicating and getting your approval to change the budget that you adopted originally. And then all that's wrapped up in financial reports by fund and function that you receive each month and approve each month, along with details of the building program, each East-West cycle and major project. Those are broken down line by line as well for you to review and ask questions about. And again, all within the approved function level and the bids and contracts that we bring to you throughout the year. So as we get into the proposed budget, this is the initial snapshot of it with your funds across the top, your revenue sources in the top left, and then your expenditure functions below that along the left-hand side as well. Just as a reminder, what's already incorporated in here is a 3% growth in property tax revenue. We don't yet know what the digest will look like, haven't received information on that, but that'll be a separate conversation when we get there. Just put kind of a conservative placeholder there for budget purposes. A QBE estimate, that's not finalized yet with the state, but have a pretty good number there, I believe, as well. And then on the expenditure side, increased costs for inflation, changes in allotment sheet based on student population growth or movement in the weighted staffing model, as well as any known increases from the state, whether that be state health, TRS, a step increase as well, and we'll go through those in a few slides. And that's what's all built into the general fund column. The other columns are lesser funds, if you will. We don't talk about them quite as much, but the second one being your special revenue and school nutrition, so that's all your federal programs. Your building fund, it's East-West driven, as you know, building program, debt service fund, and the workers' compensation fund are there as well. We like to also show every year a breakdown of revenue. So the left-hand side is just the general fund only. And just like in years past, local revenue hovers around 40% and state revenue around 60%. That has not shifted significantly in past year when you compare it to past years. So that distribution has stayed relatively the same. When you combine all the funds together, that's the right-hand side. It does shift a little bit because you brought in all those federal programs, school nutrition, and so you can see the distribution of local, state, and federal revenue there as well. Okay, so talking about specifically the general fund, we like to show per pupil expenditure every year kind of as a point of reference. So this was last fiscal year, 2025. And so I'll just go through these numbers. I pull all these numbers from a big state spreadsheet that's out there. This is not me doing math. I just take the state's information that they put out there and create this. So last year we were 15th out of 180 districts. When you look at total FTE reported on the allotment sheet, so essentially we're the 15th largest school district from an FTE perspective. As a percent of our budget, we were 6 out of 180 of what we spent per FTE on instruction, so that's a good thing. We spent the 6th most, if you will, on instruction, which is where resources, should should be. 178 out of 180 on per pupil services. Last in the state on general administration, which is superintendent's office, a lot of the offices you see here that are housed in this building, but some others as well. And so when you look at total per pupil expenditure per FTE, we were 174th out of 180, meaning only 6 districts in the state spent less per FTE than we did. And when you look at all those districts, they're smaller, they have 5,000 FTE. So per pupil expenditure last year of $12,155. This is a snapshot of the general fund expenditure breakdown. Again, as in years past, about 90% of everything in that general fund budget is salaries and benefits. We're a people-driven organization, and so that certainly is reflected in our budget. And then the remainder is for all the things you need to operate a school district, from electricity, gasoline, supplies, whatever those things may be. So all that's in there. I like to show this slide every year as well. It just shows the change of employer matching benefits, many of which we don't have any control over. These continue to be an impact to the budget each year, although maybe not as impactful as we've seen in years past. So FICA and Medicare remain the same. Teacher retirement increased slightly to 22.32%, so a little less than a 2% change there. And then health insurance for both certified and non-certified employees increased to $23,220 a year, which is a 2.65% change from where we were or are this year. Life insurance remains the same. We provide life insurance for all of our employees at no cost to them, as well as the supplemental retirement match of up to 3%. When we look at the costs of those major kind of state-driven increases, you can see the gross cost there to the school district. A step increase is now at about 4.2 million. State health, that changed, 2.8 million. In teachers' retirement system, 1.5. So even though it's a small percentage, we're talking millions of dollars even at that level that we have to budget for. Okay, I like to show inflation every year as well. This is the March 2026 CPI from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So it's the 12-month percent change from March of 26 and March of 2025. And you can see that distribution there, obviously energy being the biggest growth area. We like to use the all items when we talk inflation, and that's that red bar all the way to the left. At the end of March, that was 3.3%. And we've reflected that in the following table for conversations around cost of living adjustments. We go back to 2020, add up the US inflation over the course of from then to now, and then the cost of living adjustments that we've given, and we come up with a 10.4% difference, if you will, or 10.4% under inflation that we've been able to provide as permanent cost of living adjustments to employees. All right, we're going to go through the general fund improvements. I'll call Dr.